Ugh. All right. Gotta get these headphones on. So, yeah, I just went through everyone who made this movie. And, yeah, I'm very upset. Let's hit that music, because we really have to talk about this. Yeah. No intro there. 31 Days of Dread. We're day 24 now. We are marching. Are we day 24? Can I confirm? Yes, we are day 24. We're talking Blair Witch, the 2017 update, remake, continuation, reboot, the forwardization, whatever you want to call it. And everyone, namely the writer and director of this movie, they got chops. The guy who directed, I had no idea at the time, and this is why I like you have to have a way of watching movies, so you discover them and you see them for what they are. Uh, the hype, the high the high wave that crashes around some of these movies, the stories, the lore, the selling of the process that is around every movie today, big or small. Definitely, when you are on that wave and you're riding that crest, it definitely takes away from your film going experience. Previous movie that we discussed, Rings. Yeah, definitely a it's a watchable, well made, fun movie. If you watch the movie with someone at any time, you just sit down and have a good time. That's a movie that's hard not to have a good time with and hard not to be creeped out by. Uh, Now, would you be receptive to that if you knew too much about the movie? 100%. And so, yeah, I didn't know too much about Blair Witch. The only thing I really liked about, or I knew about the movie, is that I really liked the poster. It was black and red, and it had the Blair Witch like logo or emblem or icon. And I thought for bringing a franchise back or bringing a series back or reintroducing a concept to people, I thought like that was a perfect poster, perfect choice. You cannot get any better. So, yeah, I went through this movie. It took me two sittings. It actually crashed out. Completely forgot I was attempting to watch it until the next day. Sat down and put it on, and actually went back. So, I pretty much watched like the last hour of the movie probably about twice, because I realized how close to the end I made it to the movie before I crashed out. But I wanted it to be fair, so I backed it up by a good portion. And yeah, this movie definitely, 1,000%. It tries, it swings for the fences. It knew what it was. And it knew where it had to go, and it tries to get there. And I'm not. I view the people who made this movie as so talented. Uh, this is like an Ishtar, or to some example. And you know what? That's an unfair comparison, because I don't think I've ever seen Ishtar 100% all the way through. I just know it's considered one of the all-time disappointments. But I will say Phantom Menace. Okay, I think the other movies that these guys made, proportionally compared to this, is a Phantom Menace chasm. Okay, it's a huge gap, and it's now, knowing what I know, I'm so disappointed with this movie. But at the time, I was just not disappointed. I was just disengaged. I was not interested. I was a little bit lost. Um, but we're dealing with Blair Witch, and the Blair Witch Project is another movie, just like our previous film, Rings. Uh, Turned horror on its head, introduced new conventions and new filmmaking style, really created a genre of filmmaking, which is first person perspective. And, we've had some great horror movies done like that since. We've had some great comedies, Project X, superhero movies, Chronicle, monster movies, or kaiju movies with Cloverfield, and the list goes on and on and on. And we all have the Blair Witch Project to thank for that. So can we just go through the? You guys got time? I just want to go through the. Oh, and I'm mistaken. It looks like the Blair Witch update that I'm speaking of now came out in 2016. I don't even know what movies I'm watching sometimes. Not 2017. So I correct myself. Um, but yeah, so we talk about the Blair Witch project, and let's just go to the box office for this one. Okay, box office for this movie. The we're you know what we're lost here. I don't know what we're doing. Here we go. Blair Witch, the Blair Witch Project, production. Here we go. You guys want to talk about? Want to talk about making money? You want to talk about making money with big ideas and then good execution and just enjoying the process all around because you have to because it's got to come through the to the movie and to the audience. The original Blair Witch, the Blair Witch Project, production budget 60,000. 60 thou. Okay. Domestic total gross $140 million. Worldwide $248 million. That's got to be one of the all time, right? That's got to be greater, even with inflation and adjustment. That's got to be even greater than John Carpenter's Halloween and the Friday the 13th. John, I know John listens. This is one of your data projects. John's studying data. Um, wow. Okay, so few people know what that means, but he it's essentially number crunching, finding consistency, and what I like to call the magic layer within data and analytics. And John is among that practice. He's still, John's one of my all time friends that have never left school. I've known him since school, and he's never left school since I've known him. And but he's still in school, and he's rocking and rolling with data. And I'm talking to you, John. I want to know with inflation, with all of it, what's the biggest investment turnaround for a movie ever? Because I think we gotta crunch those numbers. I'll help you. I want to do something with that because, but I think the Blair Witch Project would be number one. So that was followed up by Blair Witch Book of Shadows. But hey, by by any investment standpoint, Book of Shadows cost 15 million, confused, disappointed everyone, which is kind of funny because I don't know where you could go. You can do very little from the Blair Witch Project, I think, as even evident in the 2016 update, remake or sequel. It's more of a direct sequel, I would say. The one that we're discussing today. That movie, but Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, cost 15 million. Domestic gross was 26.5 million. Worldwide 47.7 million. So if you put money, if you gave that movie money, you would definitely have gotten return, and you would have been happy. And now we're dealing with Blair Witch 2016, the one with the really cool poster I spoke about earlier. Production budget of 5 million. Uh, Definitely shows you can see it, but these are lower driven movies, production wise and money wise. Domestic total gross, roughly $21 million. Worldwide, 45. This is another scenario, people. Same with Book of Shadows. If you gave this movie money, you got money back, so you would be happy. Side note: it's it's ranked 21 on found footage movies. The Blair Witch series, right? Can we talk about the Blair Witch series? Because let's see here, Blair Witch. We're doing. Oh my God! I my info is not even any any bit of organized here. And here we go. So the Blair Witch series. and I wish I did this for the Ring series. We're just going to do with inflation is it costs total. Okay, $312 million, average of 104 million per movie. So we have three movies that are averaging 100 million apiece, and yeah, with a huge gap because the first Blair Witch came out in 1999, Book of Shadows 2000, next year, and then 16 years later we have a sequel. You know, kind of like I have to go back to watch Book of Shadows because I don't know how I thought that was related to the first one. I remember them like watching footage of the original found footage from the Blair Witch Project. So both movies deal with the discovery of what was shot in the original Blair Witch. But anyway, so I don't know if the 2016 Blair Witch is also a continuation of the Book of Shadows. I'm very hazy on all of it. So, but either way, 1999 to 2016, we have a sequel. So I'm talking. I want to talk about the movie first before I go into what other films that these guys put together. One of which you can see on Netflix, right? Because that's our freaking theme. But no, we're the story of this movie kind of would go the way that you wanted it, the way you would expect it. Again, it's a sequel reboot, and we have a group of filmmakers. Not filmmakers; these are investigators, kind of, and they're looking for. I think the guy's sister Heather, who was a girl from the very first movie, the Blair Witch Project, and they put themselves on a journey to like discovery because there was this other group that found. Like I don't want to give too much away because I do feel like there's a value in watching this movie. But and they get something, they send it to our other people, and the two groups now get put onto a journey to solve this riddle, to figure out what exactly happened in the woods. The one group, which are like the Hick group, kind of like the backwoods group, they're convinced that this stuff is real. And the other group is strictly just trying to figure out what happened. So again, we have two different ideologies, we have two different belief systems, and we have two different sets of knowledge that are just being set forth to investigate everything that's been happening. And so from that point, from I would say like initially from your first 20 minutes, the movie definitely fractures and breaks. There's not enough. There's not enough insight. There's not enough anything new. They have a drone, which I thought would have been like a great thing. So along the way, this movie complements and it expands on some of the mythology and some of the lore that we learned about from the first movie, The Blair Witch Project. And we see some of the horror conventions now emerge in a Blair Witch type movie, which is they get lost in the forest. There's hysteria. There's possibly hallucinating. There's things that happen at night while you're sleeping, and all of these are like this is part of the package of a Blair Witch movie now. Which I'm happy that they defined it, because now we have like Blair Witch conventions. Again, the Rings was fun to watch because it highlighted and expanded on, and I think it put like a highlight like right on what made the Rings movies or the Ring idea good, and the Blair Witch 2016 does that for the 1999 Blair Witch Project. And again, like we need, it's almost like you need Rocky 4 to highlight how good Rocky 1, 2, and 3 are. Okay. However, when you think of a Rocky movie, you think of Rocky 4 for I'm talking about the average person. The average person doesn't think about Rocky losing his title twice in 3 movies, or losing his bout twice in 3 movies. Okay. Yeah. They don't think about him losing his title. They think about him standing toe to toe with someone in the ring, throwing wild punches, and like sweaty montage and blood and sweat, slow motion hits. it's all Rocky 4 that people imagine. Even fans of the Rocky movies are, like it's Rocky 4 is symbolic for the attitude, and so we for the Halloween movies, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. Again, it's the same as what we were talking about with Jason X, where Jason X highlights the conventions of the Friday the 13th movie so well and so accurately and perfectly that it complements and actually helps you understand what's good about the other movies, the parts of them that are good, because there's no Friday the 13th movie that's good. Can we just say that? Nightmare has good movies. I'm sorry, but not Friday the 13th. They can't even figure out what the heck Jason is. So and like the movie just this movie peaks and hits a stride when they get to the cabin. Again, another convention. And then, so it's hard to know who's who in this movie. By the time they get to the cabin, they spend more time in this cabin. You're getting like hints of like the witch. You see some imagery of the witch in this. So this movie doesn't stick the landing. The Blair Witch Project is one of the few movies, like at all, I'm talking all of cinema, that has a solid final frame, like final moments that are with you, that you do not forget, which is, what's his name in the corner in that movie. Few horror movies have that. They have that final, like, gotcha. And Blair Witch Project, 1999, perfectly nailed that. I mean, you go on this journey and you come out creeped out, freaked out, and with something that has stuck with you, that has it's embedded into your gray matter. Few movies at all do this. Blair Witch Project, the Blair Witch does it perfectly, and it could have been with intent, it could have been without, but the final product is there. So this movie looked like it's marching towards that, but we get the corner, we get the corner, kind of too early. We already build into the corner. I thought it looked like they were going to challenge the rules of the corner in this movie, similar to how some of the rules were challenged in Rings. But no, we don't have a dissection of it, which is the big difference between these two movies. These two movies are good to watch back to back, by the way, because you see how one dissects conventions well and accurately and with care, and the other one seems to do it willy-nilly and carelessly. But yeah, so I think what we lost in this movie was more about the witch, was more visual with the witch, was more like a little bit more horror with the witch. I think the elements of raining and dark and cold and forest, like a lot of that stuff was there. Like people getting lost and running to try and find someone. Those elements were there. They were all there in this movie, and they're good. But again, there is what happens between those moments, and that's where you get disengaged. This is also a found footage movie that doesn't have found footage rules. It seems to break its own rules. It's hard to know like how some shots were achieved or why they would be there if it's found footage. So it breaks its own genre. Okay, and again, this is bad. This is a technical mistake in this movie. I would say it might be the biggest mistake, believe it or not, because it does take you out of it. But yeah, so Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard. Who is that? Okay, this is our filmmaker, and Simon Barrett. I love these guys because these guys made one of my favorite all-time Netflix finds. It's a movie called The Guest, 2014, and it's a part of like It Follows and Drive, 80s synthesizer, like cool guy type movies. And yeah, It Follows isn't really a cool guy movie, but it's kind of cool with the Walken, because Walken's just cool in movies, not in real life, but in movies. Wingard is a talented dude. he also made Your Next 2011, which like I thought about doing Your Next for the 31 Days of Dread, and I just couldn't because the ending for that movie, I just the girl, and she's just I don't know, like I just maybe I gotta watch it again. Maybe I'm just short selling it. I just the girl just did not convince me in that movie, and the final death in that was I just thought was just stupid. But anyway, and then we have Wingard, like hell of a rebound because he goes from Guest, which is awesome, to 2016 Blair Witch, which you're thinking like, okay, like here we go. You're gonna make a $5 million movie that's gonna gross $100 million. Misstep, but he comes right back with Death Note for Netflix. One of the biggest Netflix original releases. And Death Note, again, I thought was everything it should have been. Awesome movie for taking a big idea and a big concept and streamlining it for roughly 2 hours. Yeah. So, and Simon Barrett is it's his writing, like kind of like partner. Like he's he's been a part of such movies as Frankenfish, but no, the VHS series. He wrote The Guest. He's written a lot of genre-driven movies. ABC's of Death, 2012. A lot of these compilation anthology type movies, none of which I've seen, by the way. So kill me. But no, yeah, that's where my disappointment comes because when I looked into who made this movie, I just felt like, like you found out that there was like a family secret and something horrible happened to your parents or to your sister in life, and you just weren't told, and you just feel like dirty and betrayed. But yeah, I want to know. I do want to know what the heck happened with this movie. Maybe again, like another side tangent where, like how much more do we have to investigate about this, or what do we have to do to investigate and to dissect what happened during the production? Like why do we have really talented people? And look, everyone that was in this movie was good. The technically the movie's good, acting it's good. I think some of the concepts, like the idea of the drone, just which didn't seem to be used at all, or used well, or conceived well. Yeah, I would have liked if the drone kept seeing the same thing because they're like somehow like they're in a spell and they're lost in the forest, and they send up the drone and they're not seeing like a trail or like a path. And because like you walk in the loop, that's one of the Blair Witch conventions. But I just feel like a lot of this movie was discussed, and what was discussed was not produced. And this could have been a quick turnaround. That's one of the things that kept occurring to me, or I kept extrapolating or imagining that this movie, yeah, could have just been a quick turnaround movie, and we have these are the repercussions for it. But yeah. So 31 Days of Dread, day 24. I got a little left to say about this. I'm going to try and find Adam. I'm going to try and find this guy on the Twitter, as I've successfully been doing on with a few of our filmmakers, and the Instagram, and I'm going to tweet out to him. I'm going to direct message this guy. I want to know. He might. I just really kind of want him to be like, if I could do like a first call-in guest. I want Adam Wingard to. I gotta talk to him. I'll even talk to Simon. I'll talk to them both. I don't care. But no, I will follow his movements. I will find him. But yeah. Day 24, 31 Days of Dread. We're signing off here, people. Have a good day. And maybe for this one you can find your you can find your own little bit better horror movie. Okay? I'll talk to you. Have a good day.